Welcome back to the channel, guys. And well, yes guys, the feud between Christian and Koenigsegg and the Hamilton collection is lighting up social media like Christmas before Christmas on its own, where of course all of this began with Steve Hamilton completely opening the taps on all the issues that he's faced with Koenigsegg altogether, where of course we've known that his complete regera has been giving him a plethora of issues on a complete recurring basis, whereas now apparently it is evident that that was not the only issue that he'd been facing, where he has directly taken to his Instagram page and fully gone on to properly throw quite a big punch at Christian and Koenigsegg as a whole, where of course he stated his issues. Number one being with the fact of his gemera, where he's waited 5 years without any end in sight, and of course with the fact that Christian and Koenigsegg himself provided a rebuttal to this very proper punch thrown by Steve, and with the fact that he did not at all address the gemera factor. I think that on its own speaks for itself. Secondly, of course, moving on to the fact of Steve's regera, which has been quietly well known amongst the complete YouTube platform and specifically to people who watch the Hamilton Collections channel, where of course it's been having a multitude of issues and has hardly been in the driveway and apparently more in the service center. And of course that has also been refuted by Christian himself, as I will show you his very response in just a minute. And of course lately or recently on its own, he's going on to the issue of his jesko being properly delayed in terms of the delivery, where it was initially scheduled for a delivery of mid 2026, whereas here we are in November with the car still not in his driveway. But of course it has actually reached the final ending stage of shipping, where it is undergoing the complete PDI or the pre-delivery inspection, the full UA driving test essentially, which of course it has gone down, and you will see this very car in the flesh in CVK shot. And of course these are all the issues that Steve has stated, but this is not the biggest punch, as Steve also put up another story by calling Christian on Koenigsegg Thanos on Koenigsegg and putting up a doctored picture on its own. And apparently multiple Koenigsegg owners have DM'd them or probably reached out with grievances and issues that would blow their mind. Nevertheless, now let's take a look at the rebuttal by Christian himself.
Hey guys, CVK here. Well, I didn't see that one coming, so let's talk about it. This guy put in his second payment for the car in the beginning of the year, and he's finally spec'd the car in May. When he had finalized his spec, we told his dealer that the car will ship end of November. We're final test driving it as we speak, and it's going into polishing. So I don't know what this guy is on about. It's just unbelievable. He speaks about his regera that he bought used from a second-hand car dealer. It wasn't serviced for 3 years. It had a lot of updates it needed that it didn't have, that it should have had. We even flew out and helped with that because we wanted it to work, and he had ordered a jesko and so on. So we didn't even charge for it, just to be nice. We have a lot of happy regera owners, some of them driving huge miles with them. And now he says it's been in for service for 2 months. No, it has not. We checked with our dealers. It was shipped in 3 days ago to a dealer. And if he did not like that he could not get it to that dealer quicker, there are other Koenigsegg dealers. We have over 12 Koenigsegg dealers in the US. They haven't been without their problems. These extreme cars usually tend to have some issues, especially in the beginning of series. But we always upgrade and take care of it to make sure that even the early cars are in the end as good as the last ones. So here we have the car we're speaking about. Beautiful spec, custom spec. Yeah. What am I supposed to do now? I mean, it's an interesting situation, and it's not finally paid for. So,
And well guys, as you've seen, Christian himself did respond on its own, and as I said, he completely left out the fact of the gemera. But regardless of that, he did address the fact that they did indeed try and repair or properly fix Steve's regera, which of course is notoriously known for being the most unreliable Koenigsegg out there. And it furthermore is amplified to this very specific regera because before joining Steve's fleet, it was actually not at all serviced for its complete tenure of 3 years of ownership in the complete ownership of the past owner. And well, that just amplifies everything even more. And of course with the fact that it had no service history or any records whatsoever, well, that would just make things worse. And with the fact that Koenigsegg sends out regular updates to each and every one of their cars, which are essential to their cars, and with the fact that this specific regera received none of those, well, I think you've got your reason for this specific regera being unreliable. But then again, you've got a decent amount of people saying that it is one of their worst cars they've ever owned. But at the same exact time, there are a decent amount of regera owners once again claiming that it is indeed a proper beast and a proper tank and quite literally bulletproof and very much reliable, where they've tracked them, taken them for rallies, taken them on road trips, driven them for tens of thousands of miles, and have come off with zero issues. So this just puts us, i.e. the people, in a very big gray area where we can't decide who is in the wrong or who is in the right. Nevertheless, with the fact that the regera issue is one, but it's gotten to this extent and it has become the biggest talking point amongst both of these guys' posts. And speaking of posts where Christian's proper response invoked a whole other response from Steve on his own. And well, of course, let's just get a complete brief recap of that.
I'm shocked that Kristen tried to reply to our post, because the only time that he's usually talking to us is when he's trying to hush us, because the Regera is in service so much that I have just said I want to go public with this thing and explain how bad of a vehicle this is. Now, I genuinely think the people over Koenigsegg are good people and they care about their customers, but at the end of the day, they just do not build a good quality car. I'm hoping they can write this with the jesko, but the Regera is a total crap show, and I am not the only one that says this. There are tons of Regera owners and Agera owners, people that you know and you recognize the name of, that just hate the quality of this car. Now, I'm really hoping they get it together with my jesko. I hope it performs well. I think the people over at Koenigsegg are good people and they try to take care of their customers, but they have to build a good car at the end of the day. Now, I want to address some other things that Christian said. He said the various times that I paid my vehicle. He's right. Yeah, those are when I submitted my payments. I submit my payments as the factory hits certain benchmarks of production, and that's when payment was sent. And I haven't sent my final payment yet, like he said, because it's not due until the vehicle's ready to ship. And the vehicle is not ready to ship. He said it himself. It's still in QA testing. So I'm ready to send payment when he's ready to receive it. And my Koenigsegg Regera has been in the shop for 2 months. Well, kind of. I've been trying to get it in the shop for like 7 of the 8 weeks, but the shop refuses to take it for whatever reason that it may be. And then after I started going a little public with that, they finally go and take it in for me. So I am really trying to be patient with this brand. I really hope my car does well for me. As you all know, every penny this channel makes goes to charity. We try to be positive with our messaging, but they need to be held accountable. Koenigsegg has a problem with accountability, and that's always been my problem, and that's why they are the only ones that I am calling out, because they refuse to be accountable for the actions. I hope that they can start being accountable and deliver me a good vehicle. That's all I have to say. I genuinely wish them the best, and that is that.
And well, guys, that was Steve's rebuttal on its own to Christian's rebuttal, and this is essentially both of them trading punches on one another. But at the end of the day, it still raises a question: who is in the right and who is in the wrong? Because we've got an extreme outpour of Regera owners, positive and negative reviews alike, and it just puts all of us in a gray area as to see what is the right way around. But of course, there are also some people who are maintaining a complete neutral, complete state, where of course specific owners like CCOL10 and AMBS, i.e. the son of FI director Mohammed bin Sulaim themselves, have said that it is more likely the issue of the specific car, where of course first of CCOL10 has said that it is a complete dealership issue, where some dealers completely operate at the highest level, where they treat each and every customer as a proper high tier customer, whereas some dealerships don't, which of course does completely make sense. But of course, once you go on to AMBS, it also makes sense, because with the fact that this specific Regera that Steve picked up had absolutely no service records for its complete first 3 years of ownership, and mind you, it's a 2021 car, and well, that of course also makes sense. It's just of the fact of the previous owner not doing his due diligence of completely taking care of the car, and of course that just aggravating and exacerbating the issue for this specific Regera and completely exhausting Steve and his resources even more. And well, of course, as I said, it makes sense on both sides, but nevertheless, it still throws a big curveball to both ends, and specifically to Koenigsegg. And as I said, as you guys can see, there is a very big outpour of people voicing their opinions in a positive as well as negative way to defend as well as completely defame the Regera by calling it a reliable or an unreliable car, either way. And there are people, mind you, have driven them for thousands of miles and even tens of thousands of miles and have encountered zero issues. So it is just a complete proper shot in the dark at this point. But nevertheless, you can't blame Steve for properly speaking about the issues that he's having. And of course, with the fact that he's put down the money for such big types of cars, it does make sense. But at the same time, the way he took the pot shot at Christian the first time on, that was definitely not the right way to do it. Nevertheless, guys, at the end of the day, everyone hopes for both to completely come to a good conclusion and get back to being on the same page, and of course loving cars and are properly cherishing these, because of course even Steve himself has said so in the comments of one of his posts. Regardless, even with the fact of Christian addressing this matter, which is something that car marquees wouldn't even do, let alone for the CEO himself to reply as soon as possible. So that on its own is a very big admirable trait. But as I've said, the situation is being thrown in both ends, and well, it is gone on to become quite a complex matter. And well, that's the recent debacle revolving Koenigsegg. And well, what do you guys think about this complete debacle? Do you guys have any opinions, any proper grievances also, of course, from your end, to see who's doing what wrong? Of course, feel free to leave your very own thoughts in the comments below. And of course, what do you guys think? Comment below. And well, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Remember to hit that sub button and click the bell to ensure you don't miss out on any future videos. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. See ya.